You're watching News at Prime. Let's get into another important discussion. Corruption-accused ANC National Executive Committee member Pule Mabe has stepped aside from all his roles in the party. The former ANC spokesperson and a co-accused, they appeared in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court this morning on charges relating to a 27 million rand tender. Mabe joins me in studio this evening to discuss this. Mr. Mabe, good evening to you, and thank you very much for making the time for this discussion. South Africans watching you sitting in the dock today are asking themselves questions. Is Pule Mabe an innocent man, or is he indeed guilty of the crime that he is being charged with by the country's prosecuting authorities? Which is it tonight?
Well, Xoli, evening and evening to your viewers, and once more thanks for having me in studio after such a long time. I must say at this stage, Xoli, we have pledged our innocence on the matter, and we are doing so fully aware of the facts and the merits associated with the case on whose charges we have been preferred. You know, so we will be able to more broadly deal with our case at the right time. So I wouldn't want to really get into the merits and the demerits of the case. South Africans, like I said to you shortly before we started with the interview, that if you have been around, you would know that there is nothing new about this matter. It is just that it is now being ventilated upon in a court of law. This is a matter that we have had to deal with even at the press ombudsman. It's a matter that main publications in the country, senior journalists in the country have carried. I'm quite comforted by the fact that this matter is now before court. It will give me an opportunity to present my vision, to remove whatever cloud that might have remained behind me, especially on issues such as this.
Yeah, but tonight, you have seen it fit to come before the nation.
Yes.
And sit in front of a journalist in order to ask you questions. And so one of those key questions is whether or not you are innocent of the crime you are charged with.
I have already restated that I am not guilty. We have said in an open court that we are going to pledge our innocence. And I agreed to come here because there is nothing that really scares me from talking about this case. Of course, I would have to be guided because, you know, when you take a stand in a court of law, you are also guided by the worships there to understand what it means to remain silent. But that does not detract from the fact that where issues are already out there in the public domain, we may, speaking to journalists yourselves, clarify that, because we've also got to understand the prominent space we occupy in society, even as we receive the many messages from friends and families wishing us well during these trials that we are going through. They've got to understand that we too have got a vision to place before the courts of our nation.
As you say, this is a matter that is now going to be finally ventilated inside a court of law. And listening to some of the discussion today in court, it doesn't seem, at least at face value, that delivering on what you were contracted to do by the department concerned, it doesn't seem that that would have been much of an issue, because over 190 of these tuk-tuks were delivered, except for the 4, and I think there was something about them being damaged because of a storm that had occurred at the time. It's more to do with the process which led to you receiving this tender or being awarded this tender. What can you tell us, sitting here tonight, about that process? Was it above board, to your knowledge?
Well, let me first clarify. You know, you would understand that investigating officers, as well as the prosecution, would rely on the information that they were given I can place this on record without breaking the rule of maintaining my silence, because there are records to that effect. Yeah. 200 vehicles have been delivered. I'm sure that it is possible that at the time when they had the reports, they may not have confirmed. Well, all the vehicles have been delivered. And when delivery took place, those that were dealing with the technical aspects of the delivery would have ensured that all of the cars are in a usable state. Unfortunately, Xoli, there would have been instructions by those that were doing investigations at the time, directing GDAT not to hand over the vehicles because they are subject of an investigation. The consequence of that is that the 100-odd vehicles, I don't know how many are still there in Seigerbos, because I heard some of these things in court. It then meant that you then allowed these cars to be vandalized either by baboons there, by people passing by who may want, we've got a lot of scrap dealers. So you exposed that asset procured by public funds to vandalism in that way, without taking it to the many guys, informal waste pickers that we see on the street pulling carts on a daily basis, because this program was supposed to assist those. So, but I want to go to your question.
I don't want to cut you short because time is of the essence. Yes. The essence of the question has to do with the process.
Yes. I was
of the awarding of the tender.
Yes. Well, I was going there, Xoli, because we spend a lot of time sitting by ourselves at home. Maybe we're also aging to a point that when we explain, when our explanations are taking this aging pattern. So, but to be fair to you, this is what I know to the best of my knowledge. And if I'm wrong, I'm allowed to be corrected. What I know is that the tender was published by GDAT early in 2017. What I know is that Xoli Mngambi participated in that tender, not alone, with a few other entities. What I know is that a site visit was conducted at the premises that Xoli Mngambi would have provided to GDAT for purposes of checking and satisfying themselves that that which Xoli Mngambi had stated indeed exists. Yeah. What I know is that a letter of appointment was issued on the grounds of the strength of the proposal that was submitted. What I also know is that there were beneficiaries associated with this project. What I know as well is that drivers' learners' licenses were given to those. I also know that former Premier Makura, MEC Maile, MEC Masupye, in their different capacities, participated first in the handing over of the three-wheelers at in Tembisa, I think it's Makulong Stadium. Second, in the inspection in loco of the motorized three-wheelers, as well as the handing over of the learners' licenses. And thirdly, again, in handing over the tuk-tuks themselves or the motorized three-wheelers to the rightful beneficiaries. But fourthly, more important, was the publishing of a gazette that deals with a waste management plan for the informal waste sector. That is now anchored on exactly that which was done by government. So at least if someone has got different, if there's a different version, I'm allowed to be educated on that one.
Quick one. Among the people accused in this matter are government officials who belonged to the Department of Agriculture. At no point, and I'd like for you to state this for the record, did you at any point use your influence as a senior ANC member at the time of the awarding of this contract? Did you at any point instruct a government official to do either one thing or the other in order for you to get this contract?
Well, even with the sophistry of government investigators going into our bank, my bank accounts, the company's bank accounts, I'm not sure about cell phones, if that would have happened. They can tell you for free that there is no records that suggest otherwise. I can state this on record. The motorized three-wheelers in question the ones that were being offered by Xoli Mngambi are a product of an innovation that I engineered, whose architecture I drove. So I always pride myself with the ability of these concepts to sell themselves.
All right.
When I saw the concept sell itself as part of the presidential employment stimulus, providing much needed social relief, I also stood there and said, it's possible for us to innovate impactful stuff that can also help our government to deliver to our people.
Pule Mabe, I want to thank you very much for your time. And best of luck in what is to come.
No, I don't need luck. I need to put facts across. Luck is needed there by the lotteries and gambling. Holy bet people need luck. Here we need facts. Not even truth will help you. Facts.
Pule Mabe, those facts, hopefully, are what is going to come out in court. Thank you very much for your time.